Hello world, welcome to the stream. 2 nights in a row. It's going back-to-back streams, which is pretty good for me, so I'm excited about that. Not a super long stream tonight, but we'll get some useful stuff done. Alright, so let me quickly show you where we're at. Did a little bit of work off stream. So last night, you remember, we were working on building out our stats view. So you can see that over here. And last night we got to display the HP bar and kind of have that scale based on the current amount of HP that the player had. And so off stream I cleaned it up a little bit. I kind of removed the border. I think just having a flat gray background is better. I changed the HP bar from hash marks to this graphic. Well, it's an ASCII character. It's actually 2 ASCII characters. One is overlaid on the other. So we've got kind of this diagonally stripy background with a heart overlay to represent HP, and then added attack and defense scores right now for our player. So this is the base, and then in parentheses we have the modifier. And right now we don't have any modifiers. Modifiers will be calculated based on items that we are using, or perhaps if we're poisoned or something, there may be a negative modifier. I'm not really sure yet, but we'll figure that out. But right now the modifiers are 0. So I kind of cleaned that up, and then we can find a monster. I've enhanced the log a little bit. First of all, I cleaned up about a lot of the useless logs that were like, you miss, and I was just dumping the current HP to the log like every single turn, which is just filling up space. So now we have a little bit more useful information. We're still chopping it off, so we'll address that tonight. Let's see if we can. I added, now it puts the name of the monster into the message, makes it a little bit more interesting. And then once we alright, so we kill it. So now when you killed the goblin, this is in a different color. So I think it's a little bit more visually appealing. There's still some work to be done there, but I'm just happy that we've got it logging. It's reasonable enough. I think the one thing that we will do maybe right now is move the log over a bit so that we can have a bit more room for the text. We've got our kobold here, and then it's probably going to kill us. So you can see down here the HP bar is decremented. So the green portion represents our current life level, which is not very much right now. So I'm going to run away. And so the other thing that we're going to address tonight is the health recovery function fires every single turn, which is kind of dumb because if you're attacking, you are simultaneously attacking and recovering health, and if you're running away from a monster, like, you're recovering health, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So we're going to build an explicit rest function that we can, I don't know what key we're going to tie it to, maybe the Z key for sleeping, or maybe even the spacebar. I don't know, we'll figure that out. But that will explicitly trigger the health recover function instead of having it recover every single turn, which is silly because look, we're back up to full health, and all we did was run like 10 or so squares away. So let's tackle the first thing I said I was going to do, which is moving over the log view a bit. So we'll go in the message log render function, and right now the rectangle that we're drawing it into is I also want to change the background color because it's supposed to be a very, very dark gray, but I didn't even see that. Maybe if we do like get a little bit darker. So our rectangle, let's start it over at column 22. So we're taking it down 8, so we're going to bump this up to 58 wide. And again, this is going to be 22, and then this is going to be 58. Let's see what that does for us. All right, so now this is much bigger. Let's see if we can get one of those miss messages. Killed it right off the bat. So let's find like a serpent or something that's weak. Run away from the kobold because that guy's gonna get us. Where's that goblin? There he is. Okay, so now we see that creature's pathetic attack didn't do any damage. That should give us enough space. Yeah, so let's add, the next thing in my list is to add an explicit rest function. So the first thing we're going to do is remove the health recover. Let's see, we're calling health recover every single turn, which is not we're not going to do that. We'll comment it out for now, but we're going to remove it. Well, let's see. So we're going to add a case statement here to interpret a key press. So maybe let's get rid of this. So yeah, what is it? It's going to be SDLK underscore. Do we think it's like space? Let's just make it C for now. Remember, we enclose our case statements in brackets so that we can scope it. So this creates a local scope. So anything that we declare, any variables that we declare, will be local to the scope within our case statement, which is nice. So like up here when we're doing new pause, we're declaring new pause here for the SDLK left, and then we're also declaring it here for SDLK right. And these will not interfere because they're scoped locally. The brackets create a local scope for each of these. So the player rests. So we don't want to mark the player move flag as true. Well, first let's do health recover. So we'll call that. But they did take their turn. They did take their turn, so I think we need a new flag. Just seeing what this does. So many objects that have been dead for a while. Okay. I guess, let's see. So we'll reset it at the start of our loop. This is our main game loop. Oh, we have a separate flag for recalculate FOV. Interesting. Maybe a player moved. I'm actually treating that like player took turn. So I think we're okay with that flag. I thought for some... I didn't want to recalculate the FOV every single time, the field of view, because we only want to recalculate that when the player moves, but I forgot I had a separate flag for that. So we'll update player moved here. Maybe I should rename that variable. I think that's a better... Ah! Took turn. Is that?
I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I don't wanna love no more. I don't wanna love because of you.
Alright, now let's recover. So, and let's add a message. No, we don't need to add a message. That's boring, because if they typically... Hey, how's it going there? I still don't know how to say your name. XZCVCZX. How would you pronounce that? Happy New Year to you. Okay, so let's and test it out. Alright, so let's maybe take a little damage from a goblin or something, and then alright, so now I'm gonna actively rest, and so the goblin should still attack me, but I did recover some health there. Okay. Because the creature's pathetic attack didn't do any damage. Nice. Let's see. We got a corpse there. Let's see if we can take out these goblins. Oh boy, it's gonna be close. Ah, it got me. Alright, so this now you see that you have died, which is a nice red color. So it looked like our rest function worked. Because when I was resting, the monsters were still attacking me, everything was still updating as normal, and I did actually regain some health, so that's good. So that said, I may actually want to tweak, because it's an explicit function now, it's not a passive ability, I'm going to bump the recovery a bit, maybe. I think right now I have it set to recover 1 HP for every call to that function. Oh, now the other thing that So this is also going to let creatures recover, which I don't want. I'm just going to call you Mr. X. How's that? Alright, so I think I'm going to want to see. I only want the player to recover health. Because I think we'll give the player a little bit of an advantage in that the player can recover health if they rest, but I'm not going to give that same advantage to the monsters. So instead of health recover looping through all the health components, we really just want to loop. We just want the player to recover health. Maybe I'll have a specific function. We may want this in the future, a general health recover, so I'm going to create a new one. A new function here. Health, we'll call it health recover player. Or we can call it player only. And so in this case, we're just going to do health. H equals get game object get component, get it from the player object. We're going to get the health component, and then we're going to just copy this here. Every man has his own ambition. So we'll bump up the player's health, or their current HP, if they're not dead. We'll bump up their HP. Hey, Black Stealths, how's it going tonight? Doing this for the Retro Game Jam? No, I am not. Just doing this for fun and for educational purposes. I'm not sure what the Retro Game Jam is. What's that about? Hey, Ben Halverson, how's it going? Good evening, how are you? So if the player's not dead, we will bump their current HP by their recovery rate, which right now is just set to 1 HP per turn. And then we want to make sure that we don't overfill their HP bucket. So if they've exceeded their maximum HP, we just set it back down to the current max HP. I'm good, Ben. How? Good, we're making some good progress. I'm about to boot up the game and show you where we're at. So let's grab this function name and add this to our rest function, which is down. So instead of health recover for everyone, we are just going to do health recover player only. So let's give that a test. It doesn't know that. Hold on, I can't see that. Health recover. Should be reasonable. Oh, do I need to save? It always helps to save your files because then the compiler can actually see the changes you've made. All right, let's run this thing. Okay, so right now we've got a full bar of HP down here. Let's find some monsters. There's a goblin. Let's get him. Goblin's hitting us, but not really doing a ton of damage. But when this kobold comes over, we're gonna get. Okay, so now we've got a ton of damage. You can see our health bar going down. So I'm gonna hit the rest, and we should get attacked again, but maybe our... Hey, with these guys, can't really get away. Still doing damage, so I can't really tell. Oh, we did recover, because, okay, so when the attack misses or doesn't do any damage, then we did actually recover a bar. And there we did it again, so that's nice. So it appears to be working. And we are not recovering health anymore when we run away or when we attack. And we're just gonna run away. Let's get... Oh, now we're dead. We're totally toast. Watch our health. And health goes to 0. Boom. Toast. We do still need to tweak the creature levels and add some more creatures to the game. Right now, kobolds are super overpowered. They always end up kicking our butt. So that's cool. What else do I have on my to-do list? Don't recover health if not specifically resting. That is right. Add player stats view to screen. Call the combat messaging to only the most exciting messages or essential. So we've done that. Colored message log. We do have some colors in there. We haven't done overlays yet. So let me think about that for a minute. I wanted to do, before we go and do overlays, I wanted to do a bit of refactoring. And before we do that, I'm just going to quickly... Just going to do a quick commit, because quick commit to the GitHub. So I'm just committing to the GitHub right now the changes to the message log. Message log made bigger, made wider, and also we fixed health recovery, or added rest function. fixed health recovery to only trigger on rest. So the Git, if anybody is unfamiliar, the Git repo is available at the, it's right above my head here, the URL. So I do commits after every single stream. And so if you're interested in playing along at home, you can grab the repo, grab all the code. The code builds on both Windows and Unix, specifically OS 10 is what I've tested it on, but I guess it's Mac OS now. But it should build on Linux as well. All right, so I've committed the last round of changes, and now we can dive into a bit of refactoring. Now, what I want to do is let me pull up the UI structures that we've defined. So right now our UI consists of the top level is called a screen, a UI screen, and that has a reference to a console, which is the basically the console manages the pixel buffer and has all of the functions for writing characters to the pixel memory and that sort of thing. And then it has a list of views. And what I'd like to do, then underneath it we have the concept of a UI view. So a screen can contain one to many views, and it renders them all onto the same screen. What I'd like to do is I would like to try moving the console into the view itself and allowing each view to have its own console, which would give us some interesting benefits, namely being the one that I'm primarily interested in is being able to use different fonts for different views. So and also, by extension, changing the size of the font. So different views would be able to display text in different sizes, which is not strictly, old school ASCII based, console based roguelike, but I think it could be pretty cool. So I'd like to give that a try. And that would allow us to display something like the message log in a smaller font, which would allow us to have longer bits of text that are potentially more interesting. And we can make the stats box hold more while leaving the map kind of front and center and in a larger font. So it's more fun that way. So, step one, I'm going to take this and I'm just going to bubble it down to here. So our UI screen will only contain a list of views right now. We'll add to this as we go and build out the GUI a bit more. But we're going to move this. So the render function will still take a console. And so the big implications are going to be here. That's the thing that is going to be most effective. Will be in our render screen and also our internal renderers. So the first thing we're going to need to do is console clear with the screen console. We're going to have to call console clear on each individual view. which could be really interesting if we're transitioning from one screen to the other, and let's not worry about that right now. We'll worry about those artifacts a bit later. So what we're going to do, we're going to grab all the screen views, and we're going to move console clear into down here. So we grab a reference to the view, and then console clear, instead of screen console, this will now be V console, which is the views console. And similarly, we'll call V render, and we'll hand it its console. So now update texture also needs to be called in a loop. I think we're going to want to do this in a second pass. So this is where it gets tricky. I think the view is going to need to hold. Oh, well, so screen width is what? Size of. I need to look up. It's been a while since I looked at the docs for STL. Let me bring up my browser so you all can see it. So it takes the texture, it takes the rect, the pixels, and then the pitch. So this is the number of bytes in a row of pixel data. Texture to update. And so the rectangle represents the area to update. And right now we're sending null to update the entire texture. So we're actually going to want to send a rect in. Yeah. Let's just copy this. Dump it in here in a comment. Just for reference. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to, let's write the code that we want to guess we can just do the update texture right after we do the render. That makes sense. So it's important. The views are ordered from back to front. So that's why we're looping through, and we can, if there are views stacked, which is a possibility, we'll draw the bottommost view, and then any views that are on top of it will be drawn in subsequent passes through the loop. So what we're going to need here is, I'm going to call it vrect. And what that will be a reference to an SDL rect that we're going to need to add to our views. So let's do that. And then we have our pixel buffers, so this would just be v console pixels. And the pitch, which is going to be the number of bytes in a row of pixel data. Right now I have it defined as screen width, but I think that might actually still be the case, because we're updating the full screen's texture. So the pitch for the screen texture is indeed this screen width. So I think that this is right. And then we'll leave this here. Alright, so we added this rect to our view, and also the console is at the view level. So now we need to go to our initialization code, which is right here for our different GUI stuff. Let's see. It's weird. Okay. Let's see. So right now we're setting up console for the entire in-game screen, which is no longer what we want. I need to look up what STL is. It is a struct. And it's got XYWH, just like mine. That gives me an idea, but we'll explore that in a bit. Let's go down to the map view. We alloc the view. Map, rect, it's going to be size of STL, and then we're going to do map. Actually, if this is a so this is interesting. We want makes it a lot trickier to do the console in it. because the map rect is going to be... Is that in pixels? Of course it is. All of this should be okay. So in this case, the map starts at 0. Starts at 0, 0. And then this is actually screen width. It's the full width of the screen, and it's not the full screen height. So it's going to be well, we'll just hard code it for the magic number. So it's going to be 16 times how tall is the map? It's going to be how tall is the map? Where do we define? Map height. Oh, how convenient. We've got a map height and a map width. So what we could do is we could do 16 times map width, which makes sense if we change it in the future, and then the height is going to be 16 times map height, 16 pixels per cell of the map. That's what that's for. And so we're initializing the console to be again, we should do it this way. But I'm just going to do a number of rows num calls. Set the render function. We're going to set map view console map console, which is what we're going to read in this thing. And then map view rect. It's going to be map. So I can definitely see the amount of work for setting this up. We're going to have to wrap this stuff in a function eventually. Might do a bit of cleanup off stream to wrap that in a reusable function. Because we're going to have to do this now for everything here, the other two views as well. So we'll go down to stats view. We will copy pasta, which we always have to be careful with because we're notorious for not renaming something and having everything blow up. Not changing values. So what we're going to do, we got stats. Swap all those out. And then this is going to be stats view, stats view, stats effect, and we're going to call this stats console. Now these are going to be different. They're num rows, num calls. So where do we define map height, map width and height? Okay. We actually have a map, yeah, so we have a map C. For width and height. I'm going to Hey Red Lab Gaming, how's it going? Welcome back. Where to put these? Stats with stats height. This num rows, num calls is not correct either, I don't think. PT console and it. Where's this console system? Width, height, row count, call count. So it's width and height in pixels, and then how many columns those and rows that represents. So that's essentially your division. So I was originally defining. Okay, so this should be map, because the console was originally representing the whole screen. So now it represents just the map part. So this is actually going to be map with map height, which represents the rows, and map width is the number of columns. So this is going to be stats height, stats so let's just define these. I'm just going to define them right here for the moment with a to do Stats width, I don't remember what we defined it. We'll have to look it up. The height is 5, I think. 20 and 5. Oh, there it is. Okay, perfect. Now we can replace these magic numbers with defined constants, which is nice. Alright, so we defined our map height, map width, console, stats console with stats height and width. We're going to set up the same bitmap font for now. And so we need to do this one more time for our log view. Slog console. No, how about log console? Well, this refactoring's a bit of a slog. I think it'll be worth it. Let's do log width. Log width. Alright, and we define the log to be 58 by 5 right now. Copy pasta errors, look at that. Nice. Just set that equal to stuff. So, alright, let's see. So now we've got our screen here. We don't set the console anymore because... So we've set up our views, we don't set the console on the screen anymore, we just set the views. Active screen is in-game screen, that should be good. Alright, and we've built, we compiled, dare we run it? And it crashed. Alright, so let's see what's going on. And you guys seeing the... Okay. Okay, no, there we go. Okay, pixel was, so write access violation. It's complaining. Let's see the call stack. Blend, console, put chart. So destination rectangle 32640. That seems reasonable. Just copy in. To combine it out. Able to read the pixel memory, huh? Pixels per row. 928. If the width is 16, then how is pixels per row 928? Can you guys... You guys can see this, right? Okay, good. Sometimes OBS is wacky about grabbing the Visual Studio window. So we're in the message log render. Width is 928, which is 58 times 16. Sounds about right. Height is 80, which is 5 times 16, yes. Row count, it's 58 by 5. Cell width and height is 16. That all looks correct. Pixels. What is this? Maybe that's the problem. What is this pixels? 250. But that's just a buffer pointer. So it's got 255 in the first one. Width is 928, which is the 58 times 16. Pixel was, so it's a write access violation, so I can't write, it doesn't, I'm not allowed to write into this pixel, it doesn't own it. And so I'm trying to write, it's the very first thing that I'm trying to write. 352. And then pixel. Pointer to the pixel is so maybe something like me. Alright, let's kill this. Oh, X and Y, that's no. That's not it. Okay, that's the problem. So we'll also blow up on stats view starts with wouldn't be the X and Y are wrong, that's the problem. So this is actually going to be the X is going to be alright, let's start with the stats view. X is going to be 0 because it starts at the very leftmost pixel. Y, however, is going to be 16 times so it would actually be 16 probably times the height of the map. Let's look at our goes from 0 to 40, so yeah, it's map height. Because it starts directly underneath the map. And again, similarly, this is going to be the log starts right under the map, but this is going to be 16 I think we start this at what, like 22? Is our left cell. We'll have to get these magic numbers out of the code, but for now, I think we're okay. No, we're still blowing up. See if we blow up in the same spot, though. Same spot, did I? Yeah, I did save. So pixels were calcing width times height. Width times height. I'm told I'll read all of what I sow. These mistakes have no one else to blame. The reason we're blowing up in log is because this is actually the first thing we're trying to render. See, I can feel it when you left me. This is the bottommost layer, the way that we're pushing these into the view list. Let's just make sure that we're calling this properly. Set bitmap font, it takes the ASCII card, takes the character width and character height. First character in Atlas. Seems right. So we're actually blowing up in the first bit of rendering. So we're doing console. Do we think we're doing? It's the problem with console clear. Is that even? I'm gonna put a couple debug statements in. We crashed. This says I got the messages before console clear and after console clear. So it's actually the console clear is working, which does the same PT fill. On height. So it's failing in the render or log, and it's failing right here when we call this draw rect. So we're just calling console put char at. Sorry, I'm not talking too much right now. We're trying to figure out what's going on here. I think we're failing in this fill blend. Fill the background with alpha blending. So we do X and Y is the cell times the width, the cell width. So where's your like 640 by. Pass in reference to the pixels. And so it's crashing right here. It's saying we can't write to that pixel. Pixels per row. All those seem to be getting set properly. So maybe the problem right now is that these are no longer in the coordinate system of the view. This should be 0, 0, log width, log height. Because the, yeah. 0, 0, then height. And again, these rows are all wrong. So this is going to be, column starts at 0, row is going to start at 4. So similarly for stats render, 0 to 40, it's going to be 0, 0. And then this is going to be 0, 1 is good, but this should be 1, 1. Left X is going to be 3, bar width is 16, that should be fine. This is going to be 2, 3. And that the map should be the same because it should be okay. It's already starting at 0, 0. Crashy. Surprised if we're crashing in the same spot. We are not crashing in the same spot, so I think we fixed the problem that we had. This is complaining. Now we're in render screen, so it's trying to render the console pixels to the screen texture. And what was the error? Access violation. Super helpful. So our vrect is going to be 0, 640. Because we're rendering the, we're probably rendering the log. That was the first thing. The log was the first view that would have been rendering. and we'd be rendering it at 0, 0, 640? That doesn't sound right. Maybe this is the stats view. Oh, it is. It's the stats render. So did we render the log? Okay. $20 times. Bring up a calculator here. 16 times 20 wide is going to be your 320. And so double that is 4. Yeah, so 640 is the right y coordinate, 320 is right for width, and 80 is right for height because it's 5 cells tall. So the rect looks like it's correct. The console pixels. Is that the issue? Could the pixels be wrong? I don't know. It's curious. Let me bring up that update texture stuff again. What? Come on. There we go. Texture should be the whole screen texture. The area to update. Oh, are we still sending in null? No, we're not. That should represent the area to update. Pixels. I wonder. See, it's this last. I ever use C++ or I stick to C most of the time. So for this project, I'm trying to stick to C. I have used C++ in many years ago. My first job out of college, I was doing C++ programming for the financial industry. But that was literally decades ago. And C++ has come quite a long way since I last was actively using it. But for this, in terms of this project, I'm trying to stick to C, standard C. Yeah, the new standards. I saw Strustrip published some FAQ about the new standards and everything, and it was the standards are so incredibly long that it's like I'm glad that they added a bunch of cool new features to the language, but it was really tedious just to even try and read through the standards updates or the frequently asked questions about the standards. It's like if there's that many questions, then maybe the features are a little bit more complicated than it should be. I don't know. So the thing that's perplexing me here is this last parameter, this pitch. The number of bytes in a row of pixel data. So my question is, does it pertain to the size of the texture, the pitch of the texture, or the pitch of the pixels? Maybe I think it. So because this is pixels and a row of pixel data, I think that my pitch is wrong. I think that's the problem. Let's kill this. I think that might be the issue. Use auto and templates, etc. Don't use smart pointers very often. So the funny thing is I used C++ before there were smart pointers. So like memory management was fraught with peril, kind of like it is in C still, but yeah, super old school. So this should be dot width. Is that right? No, it doesn't like that. It is a pointer. Boom, look at that. Slamming. Look at that, all three panels rendering properly. Booyah. That's exciting. I'm excited. Are you excited? Excited out there, chat? Alright, so that's pretty exciting. So the one thing I just want to see the potential of what we can do with this now. Let's go to our log setup. Or we can just do it with stats view. We'll do it with stats view. Yeah, log view. So here's what I want to do. I want to... Oh, you know what? I don't have a different font that I can swap out. Hey, Ginkgo Bitter. How's it going? Welcome to the stream. Looking pretty good? Yeah, thanks. I like it. We just did a major refactor of the way that we were handling our pixel memory so that each view now gets its own pixel buffer, which will allow us to do interesting things. But this is kind of, I mean, this is messy. Definitely be some off-stream cleanup, perhaps, because this is not, it's just kind of ugly, and it looks like there's enough repetition here that we can kind of wrap this in maybe a create view function that will be able to spit out a valid view with the properly allocated dimensions and font, all that good stuff. So let me really quickly... I don't think I have any other font atlases. On my machine. Just looking real quick. got a font. If I got a font that's 20 by 20, I could go bigger. You know what? Let's see what we can do. Chat. You see that? Okay, good. Let's open. Have you guys seen this site? Game art? I don't know that. Do they have fonts in here? Let's do. Oh, they do. Okay, bitmap fonts, perfect. So what I want is a small font. But what I want... What does our current font look like? It's just a black background. Transparent. Be transparent. Whoa. That one's cool. What size is it though? Five by 12 pixel font. 5 by 12. All right. I just totally lost it. Where the hell did that font download to? I just want to look and see what these. Oh, these are those are super small fonts. Whoa. What color do we want? Just can't see that. Let's close this. Let's see if I can save this. To my folder, and I'm gonna call it I'm gonna call it fancy. What was it? 5 by 12? That's crazy. All right, so I've got that in my folder now. Let's go back in here. So for our log, fancy 5 by 12, and so we're going to define a cell as 5 by 12, which is super small. So now I gotta do a little bit of math, because we've got and 12 is not really gonna go into Let's see, what space do we have to work with? We've got 16 by calculator time. So the previous size was going to be 16 times 58, right? That's how big it was. So that's 928 pixels to deal with. If we divide that by 5, it's not going to go evenly, but it'll give us 185. 185. Hey, drill developer, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. So 100. Let's just go with 185. So log height. Width and height are still going to be that. $185 times. You know what? Before I get too crazy with this stuff, I'm gonna back this out. Save. Let's just build it real quick. Make sure it runs. I want to check this stuff in because I was so happy to get the refactoring done. I don't want to break it again. Okay. There we go. Alright, so that works. Quick trip to the GitHub. Do a quick commit. Before we... It's always a good idea to, when you finish a chunk of work, especially before you do anything disruptive, potentially disruptive, or, you know, system breaking, just throw a commit into your source code repository. Alright, did a commit. Now that we've safely stored things in our repo, now we can get a little breaky with our code changes. I should have found one that was better multiple. We can find another font later that fits better. So this is going to be log width is going to be 185, did we say? Log height, and this is going to be times 5. 5 wide. Each cell is 5 wide, and there's 185 cells. So similarly, we were 16 by 5, which is 80, divided by 12 is going to give us 6.6. We'll get an extra line of text out of it. Row count, call count, so I need to change that too, because this is now going to be row count is 6, call count is going to be 185. We're gonna have to change our message log render function, but I just want to make sure that this isn't gonna break. No, we should be good. So message log render is now going to be 0, 0. This is going to be $85, 6. We'll still render 5 rows for now. Line width is going to be 5. I'm going to revert all these changes. I just want to see if it works. This one. And then I just want to make sure that the console is being set up properly. Hit width height 6.1. Okay, so I think that's right. Haha, look at that. So that's the wrong. It's displaying a bunch of the @ symbols right now because it's garbage right there. I think that's because the font isn't laid out the same way as my other font in terms of the characters. Let me see if I can confirm that. So yeah, the fonts are laid out completely differently. So the font atlas, the calculation to get the glyph for the character it thinks it's not right. But this, so I just did this quick refactor to give you a sense of what is now possible, that we've got a separate console and pixel buffer for each view. So the map has 20 by 20 font right now, the stats view has a 20 by 20 font, but this log view has this crazy 5 by 12 pixel font that's super small, and you need a microscope to read. So it's not really practical, but it's kind of fun to see here. And it's, oh, I killed a kobold. You know, aside from if the glyphs in that, you know, font that I just downloaded and threw in here, if the atlas was laid out with the glyphs in the same spot, then it would render this stuff properly. But now at least we know we can be on the hunt for other font atlases with different size fonts. As long as they have the same kind of glyph layout, we can swap them out. And it should work. So I think we got a lot of cool stuff done this evening. I'm pretty pleased with how we, with the amount of work that we did. I'm just going to delete that fancy font because that's it's kind of silly. Cool. So let me go to GitHub real quick. I'm gonna revert that last bit of ridiculousness.
This emptiness, it's just a blank slate, waiting for a pen
And
to
rebuild.
interfere. It's quite complex, but what I know.
Today, source control is a wonderful thing. We're back in business. So yeah, I mean, I think we're in good shape as far as the GUI refactoring went. Not in good shape as far as this battle is going. We're gonna get killed by a kobold here. So what's next? It looks like we're gonna be tackling overlays, which we're gonna use for in-game menus. And the first thing that we're gonna use them for probably is, we're going to go on to build screens out, so we may build the main menu from our launch screen with an overlay, but in-game, the overlays are going to be presented in order to do inventory management. So we'll hit the I button and an overlay will pop up and allow us to equip or use different items that we may be carrying. And so having the ability to pop up an overlay will allow us to start building out that inventory system. And then we'll be able to sprinkle different items throughout the dungeon to be able to collect and add to that inventory, and so on and so forth. But things are coming along quite well. It's getting a little late for me here, so I'm going to call it. Again, we had a super productive night. Thanks for watching. Previous episodes are available right there on YouTube. Hit me up on Twitter at PDCodes if you have any questions or comments. And source code again is available on GitHub. I will be syncing those few commits that we made this evening shortly after I end the stream. But yeah, thanks for joining me. And if you want to catch the next stream, be sure to hit that follow button so that you get notified the next time I go live, which will hopefully not be too long. Maybe not tomorrow, but definitely this weekend at some point. So I want to keep this. We got a good bit of momentum going this week, and I'd like to keep that up. So thanks for watching, and everyone have a good night.